All right, first grade friends. Last time we painted our papers with our primary colors and our secondary colors. Today, to start off, we are going to cut apart our squares. There we go. We're gonna flip them over. Oops. We're gonna flip them over so we see the white side, and we are going to make flower petals for our flower. So there's a couple different kinds of petals you can make. You can make, you know what, I'm gonna do this with a Sharpie so you guys can see it on the video. You can make rounded petals like that. They're super round. You can make kind of square petals where the top is like flat. Like that. You can see the difference between that and this. This has a really round top and this top is kind of flat. The last kind of petal you can make is a pointed petal, like that. Okay? But once you have decided what kind of petal you want to make, you can see that when I drew them, on every single one, I drew them as big as I possibly could on my little square of paper. As big, as big, as big as I can. We don't want a little tiny petal that's this small. We want to take up as much of this paper as we can. So I'm going to set these aside because I just have my white papers. Once I have it how I really like it, remember you're going to draw this with pencil and you're going to draw it really lightly. So if you don't like it, you can erase it and try it again. But I'm going to cut this out once I've got it how I like it. Then I'm going to set it on top of my next square and I'm going to trace around it so all of my petals will look the same. So you can see I have my tracing on there. I'm going to do the same thing on all of the rest of these. I'm putting it right at the bottom, lined up with the bottom. You can see that. Then I'm just going to trace around it. And there I have my other petal. Do the same thing on here. This will really help you make all of your petals the same size and same shape. So make sure you really, really like that first one before you cut it out because all of the rest of them are going to look like that one. All right, once you've traced them all, you can cut all of these out. All right. There are all my petals. If you flip them over, you can see I've got my secondary color petals and my primary color petals. Then you are also going to go get a big blue piece of paper, a smaller green piece of paper, a strip of light green piece of paper, and a brown piece of paper. We, of course, are going to put our name and class code on the back. Flip it over. We are going to start by cutting some grass into this green paper. So I like to call this fringe. So what you're going to do is you are going to cut into your paper, but I'm only going to cut halfway down my paper. Then I'm going to do another one right next to it. Not too close. You can see about how far apart they are. Maybe, for me it's about 1 finger, but you guys have littler fingers, so maybe it'll be about 2 fingers wide on each one. And I'm only going halfway down my paper every time. Okay, and then you can kind of push them up just a little bit to make it look a little bit more like grass, just like that. Do you see that? That's my grass. I'm gonna set that aside and we are going to start gluing. Oh, you know what? This is going to be the center of our flower, so we need to cut a circle. I know you guys have all learned how to cut a circle. Start by curving off one corner, just like that. Curve off the second corner. Curve off the third corner. And curve off that fourth corner. And you should have a circle. If it helps you to draw your circle on your paper before you cut it out, you can do that too. But your paper or your circle needs to be as big as you can possibly make it on that square of paper. You can see I only have little tiny little scraps. Okay? We're going to start by gluing down our light green strip of paper. I don't want it to touch the bottom, not all the way, because my grass is going to be there. So you can kind of set your grass so you can see. I can scooch this up a little bit like that. Then I'm going to put, I only really need like one line of glue on the back of that to hold it down. Just like that. Then I can go ahead and glue down my grass. You don't want to put glue on the back of your fringes. Just put glue where the flat part is. So I'm just going to make a little line of glue that goes all the way around that flat part. Okay, we'll glue that down. You can kind of bend up your fringes a little bit. I made sure to line that up with my corners. There we go. Now we can start gluing down our petals. So I want to set them out first so I know where I want them before I glue them down, because maybe if I put them too far out, my circle won't cover the edges of my flower. So I want to put them in far enough that my circle will cover them, but not so far in that they're going to be on top of each other. So I think I can scooch them out just a little bit. There we go. Just like that. Then I can start gluing them down. Now, papers that have been painted, they do not like to be glued down. They try to curl right up back off the table. So you need a little more glue than usual. So you can see I put a little line of glue along the outside, and then I put a line of glue down the center. Please, please, please do not just cover your petal in glue. You're just going to press that down. Going to do the same thing on this one. You can see it's already trying to curl back up. Give it just a minute to stick down, and if it doesn't stick down, we're going to go back and press them down in just a minute. All right, so there's all my petals. You can see I left a little hole in the middle for my circle, but I need to make sure that my hole is smaller than my circle is, because I need to be able to cover it all the way up with my circle, right? But before I glue down my circle, you can see all of these are starting to peel up a little bit. Once the glue kind of sits on them for a second, you can press them back down and they will hopefully stay down a little bit better. Once they get used to that glue, then you can try to stick them down, and you can see they're already sticking down a lot better. If you have a piece that just won't stay down, put just a little tiny more glue under it and see if that'll help it. All right, last but not least, we have our center of our flower. There we go. I'm going to stick that right in the center. And there is my finished flower.